blockchain, embedded on the blockchain, so like if you upload content to Facebook, there's these long.
I wonder how many guys are going to make the monumental mistake of celebrating Valentine's by inviting their wife or romantic interest to watch the Super Bowl with them. I suppose with some women that might be a romantic thing, but that definitely wouldn't fly with my wife. It's the classic mistake that we've probably all been tempted to make at one point. But the husband who buys a power tool for his wife to bless her, theoretically. So, guys, if you're thinking of buying power tools for your wife on Valentine's Day, don't do it. Unless your wife is one of those rare people that finds power tools romantic. The whole point is, if you want to romance your wife, you have to give her gifts that are meaningful to her and not to you. And you have to understand your wife's or romantic interest, her love language, or going backwards or the opposite direction. Women, if you want to please your man, you've got to give him gifts that are his love language. I think with women and men, that's pretty simple. As men, our love language is pretty easy. But I think more often men and wives make the mistake, men with wives, not understanding their love language. I've done this over and over. Hopefully, I have learned from my mistakes. But my wife doesn't like chocolates and flowers. That wouldn't please her. She also doesn't want me to go schedule a time someplace and surprise her. She doesn't really into surprises. Um, and she doesn't like going places she hasn't been before. Um, what blesses my wife is she wants time. She wants quality time. And she wants food. She loves it when I prepare her food and do it for her. Um, so the whole point is, if I want to please my wife, I have to show love to her in her love language, not in my love language. And it's about thinking about them. So I've been thinking about this, and I think I'm a Christian. I'm a follower of Jesus. I think it's important. So often we make the same mistake where our faith, we want to give gifts to Jesus that please us, that don't please him. So what is it that, so often our faith, let's build out the problem. Often our faith, we express it by things that are meaningful, like we're self-centered. So things that are meaningful to us, like our creed or showing who we are or making our identity Christian, in an outward way. And of course, I've made that mistake when I was younger. But as we grow up, hopefully we would learn what pleases Jesus and what pleases God, as opposed to what pleases us. And hopefully we'll get less self-centered and more Christ-centered. And I've been reflecting on, it's from Matthew chapter 25, the last parable there. And that is actually the very last parable that Jesus speaks publicly, recorded by Matthew. And in that parable, it's pretty well known. It's the king making accounts, and he's separating the sheep from the goats. And in this context, the sheep are the one who truly followed him, and the goats are the ones who just looked like sheep, but were doing their own thing. And it's very clear that he's showing, this is what my love language is. This is how you please me according to the terms that I want to be pleased. Not just pretend you're pleasing me, but are really just being self-centered. And we get it wrong so many times. It wasn't nuanced details of your doctrinal statement. It wasn't your discipline to read the Bible daily and spend quotes, time with him, although I think those things are important. It wasn't, you never drank, you never smoked, you never did any of these things. What it was is, did you take care of the least of these? Did you show love and compassion to those who you cannot benefit from? Did you visit the prisons, the inmates in prison? Did you take care of the widows? Did you take care of the orphans? And both groups were surprised. Those that he was super pleased with were like, we never gave you flowers. We never gave you chocolates on Valentine's Day. And he said, but when you did it for the least of these, that's when I knew you were really touching me. And that gift that touched me in my love language. I'm so filled. Come in, spend time with me for eternity. And the other group were like, what are you talking about? We never ignored you. We never refused to give you water. We never forgot to feed you when you're hungry. And he says, yes, you did, because you ignored the least of these. You didn't have a compassion for the poor. You were ignorant of it. You never bothered to go and care about the inmates who were locked up in prison. You never cared about the widows. You never cared about the orphans. And because you didn't care about them, you never, you bought me power tools on Valentine's Day, and those really didn't touch me. So get out. I never even knew you. You just pretended to be a follower. You weren't really a follower. So that's my prayer for myself. And I think I'm going to end this live stream. Thank you for listening to this live stream. If you're listening on YouTube, you can click subscribe, and you can listen to some other super cool videos I have on my page there. If you're listening on Alexa, that's super cool. After I'm done here, we'll go back to the pre-recorded content. But I'm going to wrap this up with a prayer. So, Lord Jesus, I thank you that you're alive and that you're with us. Forgive me, forgive us for when we give you power tools on Valentine's Day. Lord, when we give you gifts that are really self-centered and they're about us, they're not about you. Thank you that you're so patient. But Lord, teach us, show us how to please you in the language and in the manner that you want to be pleased. Teach us how to take care of the poor, how to care for the least of these, how to see those that we don't see, that we're ignorant of. Open up our eyes and treat them as your children and our brothers and our sisters. I pray that for myself and for everyone